Previously on Common Sense for Relationship.
What's the best part?
Previously on Common Sense for Relationship.
About reasons why
Relationships fail. To say, you know, even though we say why relationships fail, but the question is, do relationships actually fail? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Do relationships really fail, or do they now tell us what they were meant
people
for?
love only themselves, only themselves. So if you now enter a relationship with that other person and they're looking out for only themselves, you are not really in a very good place. And you know the unfortunate part in this whole mix, that the same people, right, now have a lack of empathy for others.
If after 5 months or 6 months in this relationship, both of us are not gelling, and we now find out that, Kai, there's something about you that I cannot marry you, there's something about me you cannot marry me, after 5 months, has the relationship failed? In my own opinion, it has not failed, because the essence of this relationship, it has achieved the objective it was meant to achieve. It means that if any ship is to stay afloat, it's not just the captain that is the most important person, it's that everybody is doing something to keep it up. Why will I be in a relationship just to service somebody else?
See how you put it. Why would I be in a relationship to service somebody else? Hello and welcome back to Common Sense for Relationships. We're really happy to have you here with us. And thank you so much for coming back online with us. I mean, we had 1 week break for circumstances beyond our control. But hey, we're back and we're happy to be back. And with me in the studio is my husband, Anietie Bature.
Hello.
So yes, today we have a lot lined up, and we're going to continue with our series. Why relationships? Yes, 4 reasons why relationships fail. Yes.
I know last week we ended with, there cannot be 2 captains in a boat. So this week we continue with the boat. So
Yes,
and there was an interesting analogy you gave about this boat.
Yes, and we are going to dive right into that. So
our fans.
Hey, Christy, today your flower is not allowing me see.
Okay, I will adjust my flower.
Christy says, nice one. Thank you so much, Christy. Good evening. Debbie, hello. She says, good evening, Pastor Anietie and Pastor Kingsley. Thank you so much, Debbie. Good evening. We're happy to see you. Yes. Don't worry, you will see me next time. Yes, and to our friends on IG, thank you so much for joining us, and Facebook. We're really glad to have everyone with us today. So, while we are at it, please just let us know where you're joining us from. You can type it in the chat on any of the platforms. We'll pick that up. Good evening, Rachel. Thank you so much for joining. And this analogy that you spoke of is a very interesting one, okay? So we're just talking about this topic, competition. And I just thought of it that it's simple, right? It's a boat. Just look at it like your relationship or your marriage particularly is a boat, right? And you guys are teammates on this boat, 2 of you, and it's you against the dash. So we'll fill that in as we go along. But think about it. If you are on a journey with someone, and this is a journey of a lifetime, would you rather be a partner or a rival to that person? This is something to think about. Partner or rival? Partnership or rivalry? Which do you think will yield the best results? Which do you think will help you to arrive at the destination that you desire? Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking at today in detail. Thank you, Rachel. I see you're joining us from Ep2. Yes, fantastic.
You were going to tell them about the analogy about the boats and the two people in it
Yes.
trying to get to a destination.
You want me to finish the analogy?
You didn't finish it now. You just glossed over it.
Okay, my darling husband wants me to finish the
I want
analogy.
us to start from there
And
then
as
start
a
going forward.
submissive wife,
Wow, we're going there, right?
I am
Wow.
going to finish the analogy. So
Okay.
this is it, right? So two people in a boat, and they are married, right? And they are going to the other side. Now, just look at it that once you have said I do, your boat has left the shore. You are now on the sea, on the water, on the ocean, or whatever, and you're heading to the other side. Now, there's so much that is going to come against you on that trip, on that journey, on that voyage, right? And it could be the waves, it could be the weather, it could be pirates, it could be anything, right? And if you now decide that you are going to, instead of working together to address all the other factors that are against you, you decide that you're going to be busy punching each other or fighting against just the two of you in your small boat, then you have done yourself a great disservice, right? Because imagine that there's a storm and water is getting into the boat. And instead of working together to get the water out, you are fighting each other. And over time, the boat is getting more and more submerged. Eventually, you might even sink and then you're stranded. What happens in that situation? So imagine that it's like, some of these interesting games that they do. They say, okay, this is the game, the winner gets this prize and so on. And they say something like everybody who is able to sail, say 50 nautical miles in a certain time is going to get this amount of money, $10,000 or something. And everybody is working hard to get the money. But these two people are in the boat and are fighting each other. And they are so oblivious of the task that is before them that they fail to meet the deadline. And because of that, they don't get the prize. So there's so much on this journey. You have treasures in the water. You have things that you could actually dive, recover. If you work together, you can achieve so much. But these people decide that rather than collaborate, they are going to compete. And because of that, they lose so much. So that was the analogy.
Okay. So that analogy brings us dead smack in the center of our title for today. Me versus you. So we're talking about competition in relationships. And what you have just told us is that sometimes, no matter how you look at it, as long as you are competing in the same boat, that boat is not likely to reach its destination. Because because competition comes because somebody say, I want to go forward. Another person say no, backwards is the direction. Or somebody say, I want to go left. Another person say it looks better on the right. One person says, I want to be the captain of the ship. The other person say, how can you be? I am better qualified to be the captain.
So both of them are struggling.
For who is the captain? And if both of them are struggling, it means that the boat is not moving.
It means that other activities are neglected.
So that's the turning point for today's. That's the talking point for today's this thing. Have you just so let me ask the question to our viewers before we go in with your, because you are leading today. Me, I just follow come. I'm not competing at all. Today I'm not competing. You are leading. I will just follow your lead. Yes. So I want to ask out there, please, have you guys been in a relationship where there is competition? And in fact, let me even throw another one in. Do you even know when competition is happening in your relationship?
Yeah, so we'll get into those because part of what we're going to talk about today is the signs. Hi, Fanen.
Fanen say, "Na me sabi pass egoism and more." So that's one of the things that Fanen, you are very correct. Those are one of the things that causes problem.
I know more than everybody else.
I know more than the other person in the relationship. That's why that's the case of one person say, "I want to be captain." The other person say, "No, na me sabi pass you, so I can be captain." You know, I can be captain.
Okay,
Yes,
so
you are captain today. I don't mind.
all right, so today we're going to get into some of those details, and our hope is that at the end of this, right, you will be able to test your relationship to know, are we competing or are we collaborating? You'll be able to decide, especially if you're not married. If you are not married, you'll be able to decide, should I avoid this relationship altogether because you have seen, for instance, that, or if you see that most of the signs are telling you that it is a competitive relationship. And if you are married, our hope is that you will find out a few things that you can use to make adjustments to improve your marriage relationship. So that's what we're going to talk about. I would like to start with a definition, because sometimes, a lot of times, it helps to put things in perspective.
Well, we are in charge today.
Okay.
I'm not competing. The topic is competition, so I can't compete today.
Okay.
But before you define it, so that other people too will hear the definition,
Yes.
please let me tell you guys. Uh, Kindly click. There's one arrow. If you're watching on YouTube, there's one arrow under there. Kindly click it on so that it will just go and share the link. Copy the link and share to your friends, your neighbors, your enemies, anybody that you want their relationship not to fail. Please share to and it from there. We can give you 15 seconds to share. Just don't say we will, because she won't define. So we'll give you 15 seconds. Share it in 15 seconds, and then after 15 seconds, she will now start defining, and then we can move on from there. So please share
Yes.
on Facebook. How they used to do on Facebook, they will follow. So just do everything. Yes.
Christy is joining us from Port Harcourt. Thank you so
yes.
much, Christy. Timora, hi, good evening, good evening, good evening. And KJ is saying hi to the Common Sense family. Okay, all right, so I can jump into my definition now.
Carry go.
According to Oxford, competing, right, is when you strive to gain or win something by defeating, the way it's about the approach. You strive to gain or win something by defeating or establishing superiority over others. That's competing. So imagine in a relationship, you are striving to gain or win something in that relationship by defeating or establishing superiority over your partner, the person you're in the relationship with, your spouse, your husband or wife. You're trying to achieve whatever you are trying to, but you in the process of doing that, or your approach is such that you want to defeat the other person or establish superiority over them. That's competition. And that already spells all things negative. I mean, think about it. Winning is good. Achieving success is good, right? Becoming something of value is good. Reaching and hitting milestones is fantastic. But the problem is that when it comes to competing, you're trying to do it in such a way that you defeat the other person or you establish superiority over the other person. What do we stand to gain in doing that? I mean, what benefit is there? What benefit is there? Win your win. Let me win my win. Abi? Or let us all win together. Do you have to put me down in the process of trying to win your win? Must you look at me as if I am the stepping stone to your success? Do you understand?
Please, superiority.
That's the key word.
Superiority is the key word. And I don't want you to lose the thought, right? Superiority is the key word. And the thought you said there that I want to pick on is putting me down.
Yes.
Let's talk on that a bit.
Yeah. So it's about, you're trying to put somebody else down. You're trying to defeat the person so that you get ahead, right? And it's not as if you can't get ahead any other way. But while you are getting ahead, you would just like to anyway put this other person down. Put this spouse down, put this person you're in a relationship with down, defeat them. So that it's as if I have achieved it and you have not. I have gotten it and you have not. I reached it before you. And it's even more obvious in scenarios where maybe the people have the same kind of career or something, both lawyers, both real estate people, both, musicians, both, and it's like, I want to get that award before you. And sometimes you see people even going all out to sabotage the other person's efforts so that they get those milestones, they reach those milestones before the other. What's making you laugh now?
Somebody said part of the computing
Uh-huh.
is that one person can sing better at the beer parlor than the other person. I just kidding.
I can see
That's what
somebody
made
is
me
in
laugh.
high spirits.
Somebody is in the, you said it well. He's in high spirits. That's a good one. Please
Yeah.
go on.
So putting somebody down, I mean, it's quite a problem, and this is one of the things you should look out for in your relationship. Is your partner putting you down? And you wonder, how will I know? Well, it's simple. Maybe you do something, you achieve something, and instead of the person celebrating you, they are putting you down. They say, oh, what? That belittling your efforts, that belittling your accomplishments, putting you down. You come back, and instead of someone celebrating your success with you, they're like, what's the big deal? Or in fact, when you say, can you imagine I got this? They say, finally, how come it took you so long? I mean, like, imagine that. Or they start telling you, well, yeah, you try, but the other person did this, or some other, or I already, it's just imagine somebody is called to, I don't know why this lawyer thing is coming to my mind now. Somebody is called to bar and comes to celebrate with the spouse. So, of course. And the other person is saying, well, I accomplished that 5 years ago. Yeah. I mean, what's the big deal? It's not a big deal. But at their time, and when it was their turn, they made such a fuss about it. They celebrated, they rejoiced, they were happy, they had a party. But now this other person gets the same achievement, and you make it look like it's not a big deal, just to make it look like all their effort wasn't so much. These are just simple examples of how people can put others down in a relationship. So you have to look out for these things. Look out for how your partner is treating you, and look out for how you are treating your partner. Do you get angry and unhappy when they achieve something? Do you feel intimidated when they do something that is notable? When the attention is coming to them, do you get agitated, like, why is it them? Why are they the ones in the limelight? Why not me? Why are they the ones getting ahead? Why not me? And in our African context, sometimes the problem is that the wife is doing well. Sometimes she's not even competing with her husband. Then some people from outside will come and say, Mr. Man, are you aware that your wife is doing this and that and that and that? And it's almost as if it is a problem. And I'm sure my mom-in-law will not mind my sharing this, but she once told us about how people went to report her to her husband about the milestones that she was reaching, about the things that she was accomplishing, and of course it was supposed to be, you need to do something about it to my father-in-law. And instead of him to say, okay, I'm going to call her to order, I'm going to tell her, in fact, maybe I'll tell her to become a housewife, stay at home, mother, she should drop the career. Both of them were in the aviation industry. What did he say? It's our success. It is our victory. Any extra money she's making is our money. And that's somebody who really understands the whole thing about team. That you're working together, right? That you're in it together. It's not a matter of me. When it's my success, it becomes a challenge when one person's success is bigger than the other. But when you see it as our success, then if you achieve more, we celebrate. If I achieve more, we celebrate. In any case, as long as we are moving forward, anybody moving forward means we are moving forward. But when you're looking at that from the I, then it becomes a problem. So that account that she shared with me was really important, and it just shows that my father-in-law was a correct guy.
Okay, so the we've been getting some messages, and Peace said this competition something is common among men. Huh? Is that a fact? Peace says it's common among men. Is it so, guys? Do you agree that it is just common among men, or are women the more competitive gender in a relationship? Okay, so but Peace would also like to understand what you mean by it's common among men. How
Yeah,
do you,
why?
yeah, why do you think that? King's Lefion says, can you please throw more light on financial competition
in a
in
relationship.
a relationship? Okay, the first his joiner to that is there a thing as healthy competition in relationships? So those are two questions. You might like to take them on.
Healthy competition. I mean, imagine we are in this house and we decide we're going to do Scrabble, or we're going to do what, or Ludo, or any of those things. Healthy competition, right? We are playing, we're having fun. Oh, or let's see, okay, first to get to that place, right? First to reach this one. It doesn't have to be only in games. It can even be in real valuable issues like life goals, like academic or career pursuits, like business deals and so on. But you see, what makes it unhealthy is when you are trying to put the other person down in the process of trying to achieve your victory or your achievement or your milestone or whatever it is, your target. When you are working against the other person in the process of trying to get yours, that's when it's unhealthy. So you can be in, for instance, the same career, and you are working towards certain goals, and both of you are going at it without getting in each other's way, without trying to sabotage each other, without trying to put down the other person. And anybody who gets there first, you both celebrate. You are on the same side. Do you understand? That makes a whole lot of difference. But when you're going at it and you're going at this and you're trying to prevent the other person from advancing, you're going at it and you're trying to put roadblocks, in the path of the other person, then there is a problem. That is not healthy anymore.
Okay, so that hits it on the head. So
Yep.
it's possible to have competition that propels the both parties in the relationship forward, but the wahala when one person is trying to put the other person down
in the
because of
process.
it.
In the
Okay.
process.
Okay.
So just make sure whatever you're doing, you are not putting the other person down. You're not opposing the other person. You're not looking at it as we are rivals, right? We are against each other, but rather we are together. We're working together to achieve the objective.
Okay, so what about the other part of the question where he said, is there can you please throw more light on financial competition?
Financial competition, right? So the subject now is finance. Who has more money? Who has more assets? Who has, whatever? By the time you do your what do you call it? Your net.
Your net worth.
Yes, thank you. Your net worth. One person will be saying, "I am worth this," compared to "I am worth that." It's okay to be worth whatever you are worth.
Sorry, I think you are putting this thing very too short. One person like, I am bigger than you. I am any more than you. I am.
Yes.
I am big. I'm any more than you. So okay. So the question now will now be: should it be the person that is any more that should become the captain of the ship? No, it's a relationship. It's a ship, right? And the ship has two people that are related.
So
who? Because we began at the beginning to say about the captain of the ship, and we cannot have two captains in the ship. So now, this ship that is going to somewhere, if the two people, must it always be the captain that is the richer party in the ship? So if the other person now becomes richer than the captain, do we now dethrone him and the other person becomes?
So when
especially if the other person that become richer is the man, is the woman. Does she now become the captain and call the shots? Do you get?
Understand? When you look at relationships, right? There are certain things that are at the core, and if you both are on the same page as to what the core is, as to what the order of things should be in your relationship, then you will not have wahala. So, for instance, somebody might be of the school of thoughts that whoever has the most money is the head.
Hmm.
And culturally, right, in our context, in our African context, culturally, most of the time, it is expected that the man should strive to have the most money so that he will be the head. And that is one major pressure that a number of guys are dealing with, because they feel I need to have more money than my wife so that she can see me as the head. So if you see somebody, if you are in a relationship with someone, you guys need to really get down to discussing those details. These are some things people don't talk about. And the man will be assuming that by default the woman will see him as the head. But what if she looks at it as it is whoever has the most money that calls the shots?
Hmm.
So it is something to talk about early on. It's something to talk about before you go and sign and say I do. So that it is not that when one person falls upon hard times, for instance, the man uh, falls
Loses a
upon hard
job.
times, and he's saying, I'm the head of this family. The woman says, my friend, you're no longer the head. When last did you bring any serious money to the table? I am the one that has been running this house for the past how many months or years. You don't have a say. What I say counts. And this also goes to how some men behave in the seasons when they have plenty money.
Yes.
They'll just be telling the woman, my word is final. What you say does not count, and so on and so forth.
You are getting there.
And she will just be keeping quiet because he's the one buying food, he's the one paying rent, he's the one sponsoring the vacation, he's the one buying the jewelry and everything. So she'll just humble herself. But if by mistake that kind of woman, assuming she does not have other values that will make her decide to still give her husband his due respect and treat him as the head of the family and so on, by the time she now becomes the person that has more money, the man, you have entered though. Because it's now her turn. It's now her tenure in office. Tenure in office as the head. So she will show you too.
So you have a point here, but this is an interesting dimension that we have entered, which is how competition actually affects a relationship.
Yeah.
So you have two people that have money at different seasons, but should money be a determinant of who should be the captain of the ship?
Money should not be the determinant. But you see, I will tell you that from this is me, right? And I'll tell you that from this is my in a number of things form what your worldview is. So for me, you build in my my beliefs as a Christian, you build in my cultural context, you build in my background, all of those things for me,
your exposure.
Yes, all of those things for me say the man is the head. Head doesn't mean that he is a lord and master and controller of everything, and everybody else is subservient.
But head means he's captain.
Head means he's captain. Head means he is the one at the helm of affairs. He's the one.
He's holding the steering.
Do you understand? But in his headship, he will confer with the other members of the family, with the wife. In his headship, he will consider the well-being of everybody in that union. So they are not afraid that he's the head. But some people, when they are the head, everybody else is in trouble.
Everybody else is afraid.
Everyone will start crying because
this thing you're saying now. It's reminding me of when I'm holding steering. When I'm holding, you people don't know what happens when I'm holding steering. You know why she's laughing? She knows why she's laughing. When I'm holding steering, maybe I'm supposed to be the captain that is going to the destination, driving us to the destination. But I'm the one holding steering. I'm driving. The next thing I will hear, see that bus on the left, and I can see the bus is right in front of me. And then the next thing I will hear, see the gallop, and I can see the gallop is right in front of me. And the next thing I will hear is Bobby. What's the problem? that other car is coming too. Should I enter bush now because the other car is coming too close?
Wait now,
No,
calm down.
no, I'm talking. I'm the captain now.
Yeah.
I'm the captain. I'm the captain. You don't compete because you just said you shouldn't put the other person down. I'm the captain now. So I need us to address this issue in public.
Okay, oh yeah, now let's address
So
it.
as the captain now, I'm driving this thing now. So it means that other people should follow me, right? So why is it that? Because this is what is bringing problems in relationship. Because some men are feeling like I'm the captain, but this woman will not allow me drive.
Okay.
You understand?
Oh yeah, let me answer now.
So you have to help the men that are like me now, thinking that I'm the captain driving this ship, but this woman will just not allow me drive. If I move like this, you say turn left, turn left. So am I really the captain,
Wait,
or
no.
they are just controlling
We
me?
don't say turn left. We just alert you on the hazards on the road. So this is where this problem is from. When I was younger, in my father's house, my father said, as long as you are sitting in front, beside the driver, that you are co-pilot. That's what my father said. And he said that your job as co-pilot is to make sure you alert the pilot or the driver of all the hazards he may or may not have seen. Note, may or may not have seen. And the aim and objective of this whole endeavor is to make sure that you, the co-pilot, plus the pilot, plus all the passengers arrive safely at your destination. So that is what my upbringing. that's my background. So wait now.
Okay.
So now you, my darling husband, you are piloting the vehicle, and we are going wherever we are going. And I see one bicycle that is there, and the way we are going, we're kind of tending towards the bicycle. If I want to use mathematical terms, and I have to let you know, hey, there's a bicycle on the road. You probably have seen it, but I'm still saying.
As you still
Or
say.
I can see some guy that is not trafficking, but it seems that guy is going to leave his lane and enter in front of us. I'm going to tell you about it.
That's no.
Wait now. I don't know why you're behaving
I'm
like
not
this.
the only one.
Wait,
Deborah.
Yeah, my mom is the same.
my mom is the same.
Maybe your mom's dad was friends with my dad. Or, so we've come a long way. Once upon a time when I say this, when I do the alert, I was gonna say, what, you startled me. So one time we had one serious discussion on how I should do the alert. And we moved to the point where I'm going to like, okay, have you seen that one? This one is coming. Because before he said, I'm saying to him, hurry! And then you say, I'm startling him that in fact the way I said it can make him have the accident.
So there's something, I mean.
But that's not competition, that's collaboration.
It depends on who is defining it. You are defining it as collaboration. The person that is experiencing it can define it as competition.
Wait, let me help them understand why you say the person that is experiencing it. So one of the times, when you first get married, most people, I don't know most, but I know that some couples have this discussion. So at some point, my husband had to really ask, what is the problem? Why are you always, asking, interjecting or commenting when I'm driving? And I said, why? Then I now had to ask him, why is he always paining you? Why is it always making you upset? Why is it making you angry when I am just trying to help? And you know what he said? By the time he sat down and answered the why and why and why, we got down to, it seems the way I'm saying it, I'm trying to say I am a better driver than him.
So when you bring this better driver,
that's where the competition.
Exactly.
But the fact is that I wasn't even thinking of that. But that's what he was thinking.
So the question now.
So that's why wait now. We're on the same page. I'm just explaining to them what you meant.
I get.
By the possibility.
I am adding a question
that the person is perceiving it as competition.
So but we have to discuss it because it is bringing another matter. But we have been told we have to take a quick break for our sponsors. We have to take a quick break, and we will take calls after the break. And the calls are hinging on this second question. Wait. Let this call is hinging on this second part. This second question I'm going to ask. Is it possible that there's one-sided competition in the relationship? Because one person is saying, I'm collaborating. The other person is saying, it's competition.
Okay, when we come back. You answer it.
It's you that is the captain today. You are leading. Yeah, Captain. I just
Okay,
follow come.
here comes the break.
Are you searching for a life partner? Do you wish to have a relationship that actually works? Search no more. With the book Husband Material by Anietie Bature, a relationship coach and author, Husband Material promises clarity and direction on all the questions you have in this thing called love. With rich content from decades of real experiences and learnings, Husband Material Workbook provides an awesome read that will help make your relationship work. This is made possible with a step-by-step, hand-in-hand, frame-by-frame work with the author to leave out the lessons in the main book. You can place your order today on Linktree/Anietie Bature. The Linktree is spelled linktr.ee/Anietie Bature. Amazon Kindle, Paystar, Okada Books, Barnes and Nobles, and Raven Hearts.
Yeah, it's time for you to answer your question.
While we're on break, somebody said, well, if you are not the steering, maybe you are the propeller. No, somebody has to be something that is moving people forward. So if you are not the steering, see, I'm getting a lot of witness. Peace said same thing with my mom. But the women are saying it's collaboration, but the men are saying
let me
it's
tell you,
competition.
let me tell you something interesting that my mom told me. Okay, she said once upon a time, my dad used to drive, and he would drive so fast, and he would just be, cruising, just feeling himself while he's driving and all of that. And then he got married, right? And he was still doing that, but not so much because now he had one passenger. And then as the children started coming, he became a lot more, how should I put it? Maybe over careful, because before he was still careful, even though of course he was expressing everything,
Yeah.
just having fun while driving. But then by the time there were a number of people at home that were waiting for both of them to come back, he had to make adjustments. So okay, now to your question.
Oh, I can see Victor also
Hi,
asked.
Victor.
Victor says there is also one-sided competition. The other just can't help themselves. It's
busy and
busy and
stressful.
stressful.
Yes.
How does that apply? Is
Well,
it the
well,
same? Is it the same scenario?
No, it's
with
not.
with my
It's,
own
it's
with my
not.
question?
Your scenario is so. So the one Victor is talking about really is where you have one person is fine, but the other person is just like intimidated, or is just not excited about why this other person seems to be
Doing so well.
advancing so quickly, having so much favor, getting the promotions quicker, and so on. And it's just such a problem for them. So they will do all sorts. I'll just quickly go through some of the signs, and as I go through the signs, please just check and see if you're experiencing this in your relationship or in your marriage, or whatever, because these are things you need to watch for, and then you know how to address them, whether to improve your condition if you're married, or to avoid if you're not yet married, and so on. From the signs, people don't want you to succeed, as in your partner, the person that is supposed to be your partner, does not want you to succeed. So you're accomplishing things, and instead of them to rejoice, they are not happy. They are not willing to support you. So they can see, hey, this person has an opportunity to, maybe something that will bring about a big break for them, financially or otherwise. And they need to do something to support, something to just help, right? An adjustment that may not cost them so much, but because they know that if they don't give you that support, you will not be able to get that big break, they refuse to help. These are some of the signs. They are unwilling to support. They are unwilling to partner with you to achieve anything, and because of that, you feel like you are alone in the fight. So it's just me. Like, who is with me? I'm really trying to complete this. Hey, honey, you could have just done this little thing. I would have been able to do this. Like, you could have just watched the kids today. Let me go and do this interview and get this job that promises to give me, or to bring me times two of my current salary. But that's the day you say, no, 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 no. I really need to do this or that, and I can't take care of the kids, or I can't make whatever adjustment would have enabled you to go and get that success. You know, people that are always trying to outdo, this person does one, I want to outdo, and you just put yourself under so much pressure. When your partner experiences a down turn, or fails at something, you're happy. It's like, yes, he didn't get that. You know, he was hoping that after this particular engagement, something will happen, or that contract will come through. And then at the end of the bidding and so forth, he comes back and tells you, hey, somebody else won. And in your heart, you're happy that he didn't get it. You know, jealousy when the other person succeeds, you know, working against the other person, wishing they fail. In fact, some people don't go beyond wishing and start to do things to sabotage. Imagine that I see that you are in the real estate industry together. There's this client you've been scoping. It looks like you're going to get there, and you have this portfolio of properties that may catch the person's attention. But I have something in my own portfolio that, hey, I think might be also a good enough lure for the person. And I poach your clients. I go ahead of you to go and push my own property, and then I get it. And of course, by the time the guy spends the money, he may not have money to do your own again. How did I get the information? You were humbly and nicely sharing openly with your wife. If you don't know that your wife is calculating to go and steal your client or put your client. I mean, these are some of the crazy things that happen. And in such scenarios, you see people being after you have been beaten once, twice, you become afraid to share. You can't just come and be talking anyhow, because you don't know which one will be used against you. So your home that is supposed to be a safe space is no longer a safe space, because you have somebody who is there and is working against you. It's quite an issue. Sometimes people overtrack. This is another thing to watch out for in relationships that are competitive. Overtracking. You know how they do keep performance indicators. Somebody now wants to say, who bought the most expensive gifts for the child on the birthday? I mean, what's that? What happened to, we brought money, we bought a gift, we bought gifts? Someone wants to check how much was your own gift, who earned more money last year, whose car is the most expensive. Do you understand? Paying attention to some of those details, just because you want to say, I am better than you. Use those things as a metric to say, I am better than you, I am doing better, and I have won in this part, and so on. Why should you be doing that? You go out and you compete in the world. You compete against business partners. You compete against colleagues if you're working in the kind of place where they do ranking and so on. You know, you compete in so many spheres. Oh, do you have to come home and compete again? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And then another one I'll talk about before we go on to the comments, when people have an argument, instead of working towards a resolution, you are working to win the argument. I want to have the last word. I want it to be that in the end, it is my opinion that stands. It is my suggestion that we go with, whether it is what is best for the family or not, right? Because you just want to win. It's a competition for you. But if it's a collaboration, if you're working together, you're going to be looking for how to resolve the issue rather than win the argument. So,
okay,
we can go to
that was quite some points that you put down there. Signs of competition in relationship. I hope we'll be able to run through them for those that are catching up later. We have this comment from Victor. He says, the expert self-competitors who even try to make the other person feel terrible for not even competing back or feel bad about succeeding, or having a lot of friends who love you, or just being happy.
Wow.
So so when you are just being happy, they want to be happier than you, Nick.
or maybe they're not happy that you're happy.
That you're happy. Okay. You have a lot of friends, and it's a problem. They're not happy that you have a lot of friends, or they want to have more friends.
More calls now, you have more handouts and so on and so forth.
Okay.
And this person is not experiencing the same. You know, sometimes these things stem out of insecurity and envy, because you see the person, for instance, if we pick the friendship one,
Mm.
having so many friends, you know, and you're beginning to look at yourself, am I less likable? Do you understand? When you just naturally do a comparison, the person is happier, I am not so happy. Does it mean that my life is not as exciting or as fantastic as this other person,
Mhm.
and so on? I mean, it's just if, and these are things people really should look out for and pay attention to. How secure is that person you're going into a relationship with? You know, how secure is the person prone to just be jealous, you know, of any and every accomplishment? Are you going to be struggling to? Sometimes people will now go out of their way to try to uh, tone down on how they share their success or their accomplishments so that the other person doesn't get intimidated. It's
Hmm.
unfortunate when that happens.
Hmm. 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 I also have the comment. Kingsley says, I once almost ended a relationship because she was doing better than me. I was unwise. And Martin says, Kingsley, be wiser next time. Don't end the relationship because she earns more. Learn to manage the
This is
relationship.
this
So
crazy.
the question we'll now ask is, are you going to get somewhere where you tell us what do we do about how do we manage competition or a competitive partner
Mm.
in a relationship? So yes, competition can make the relationship fail.
Mhm.
But if my partner is competitive,
Mhm.
should I end the relationship, or is there something that can be done about it?
Well, you see, this is where we talked about avoid or improve, right?
Hmm.
Avoid or improve, and that goes to single or married.
Married.
So if you are single, and of course there's nothing, you're not bound to this person, and you notice very unhealthy competition. In fact, any competition that is not healthy, right, doesn't need to be bad. Any unhealthy competition should be a red flag. It should be a cause for concern. It should be a reason why you start to have a very intentional discussion about this thing. What is really going on here? I noticed you were not happy when this and that happened. I noticed you acted somehow when I told you about this my promotion or this deal that came through. You actually have to discuss to get to the bottom of it,
Hmm.
because there's a reason. I mean, and if you don't get to the bottom of it, you may never know, and the person may never even realize that, hey, this is where it is coming from, to be able to now say, okay, I'm going to do this or that to address it or to try to get over it, and so on.
Okay.
So it's not, in some cases, you may be able to discuss and talk and get to the point where you reach a resolution and you can move on, right? But sometimes it's so deep seated that are not you are not enough, or you are not able to bring this person out of something that is like a lifestyle, something that is like part of them, right? Or something that from years of whatever they experience, they have come to this point where they are so insecure
Hmm.
that whatever you're doing is a threat to them, and they are uncomfortable, and they respond the way they do. So communication can help, but if you have tried communicating, you have tried sharing that, hey, we're in this together, all of those things that you could do to bring you back to the place where you're collaborating rather than competing, right?
Hmm.
And part of that is trying to say, hey, we have this common goal, trying to bring out the fact that we are on the same side. That's part of it, trying to bring out the fact that we have this common goal that we're working towards, to establish those things as a baseline. If you've tried all of those and it is as if it is still not working,
Hmm.
then if you are single, that's the occasion where you can say, maybe I need to avoid
Hmm.
this relationship. Because I mean, what will happen by the time you're married and you're going to be in that relationship for the long term? So that's a place where you consider avoiding. If you are married, you can't just just wake up and walk away and walk out, right? Because you've made a commitment, right? And if your commitment is anything to you, if your word means anything to you, you will try to work towards keeping your commitment. And that's where you start talking about improving. What can you do to improve the relationship? How can you bring yourselves to the point where the competition is no longer there? And what is really important is to remind yourself of the reasons why you even got married in the first place. Something must have brought you together. Hopefully, it's not just I love you, I love you. Hopefully, it's not just uh, you give me butterflies. Hopefully, there's more. There was a vision, there was a goal, there was a purpose, there was something about doing life together and achieving certain things together. You now have to bring that back to the fore, and bring the whole concept of teamwork, right? Where you are leveraging all the assets, leveraging all the skills, all the resources, everything that each person has, bring it together and let's use it together to achieve more. When and like you used to say, it's me and you against
The world.
the world. If the person doesn't realize, maybe the partner, one partner needs to be able to help the other realize that, hey, we have all these other things to contend with. We have all these other, in quote, enemies to deal with. And we should be paying attention to addressing those, not fighting ourselves, not fighting each other.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'll take it simply put. The fact that you have a competitive partner does not mean the end of the world. It means there's some things that can be done. And yeah, so that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, that some things can be done. Right, guys. As we begin to enter the last phase of, we'd like to take. I think we can take one more. We can take one call if there's anyone that would like to call in. Share your experience. Let us just gist this. These are things that are happening, right? These are things that are happening, and these are things that people are going through, and we have seen them. There are some relationships that really shouldn't have ended because there are good people in them. But when these things, these reasons that we talk about, begin to creep in, and if you don't spot them, you won't know why your relationship seems to fail, or you just have a cycle. Very soon you begin to call village people. Begin to call village people. Why is it that when the thing is nearing where the thing can work? And the funny thing, some relationships, is when it now looks like something is going to happen. That's when all these Igbo people call it umururu here. All these umururu things, all these small things will just bring up their head. When it looks like it's heading towards the altar, when the relationship is about to succeed, suddenly this thing will happen, and then the next thing they will say is village people. But it's these things. Last week we spoke about self-love, the me syndrome, right? Me, myself, and I. We both. And then this week we spoke about competition. Somebody said it at the beginning, and he used the phrase, "I sabi pass you," egoism. Yes. Do you understand?
Sabi
pass egoism. Thank you. So these are things that are happening. These are things. So people find themselves competing. But there's a way, in what you said, there's a way that somebody can be competitive, but as a skillful guy, you know how to channel this competition to get both of you to the same destination. Like me now, as me and now, I'm a very skillful guy. That's why even when you are competing with me on the direction of how I should drive, I still, somehow get us to the destination. Don't answer.
Don't worry, I'm not answering. I don't even have enough energy to answer you right now.
we have Victor Silva backstage. Victor, can you hear us?
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey, Victor. It's always good to have you on the show.
Yeah, it's always good to be here, be part of this.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Interesting
Yeah,
topic.
we just
Uh,
have a few minutes, so tell us what's on your mind.
okay. Anita said something that was really, really like very, very important about communication and all that stuff. And you said that, okay, what if you're married and you did all the communication and you try to work it out and it still doesn't work? Of course, you can't just bail. What about a situation where you've done all you can, you try to talk to the other person? As a matter of fact, the more you even try to talk and bring reason to everything, it even annoys the person. Like, look at you, even like you're still being even calm. You're even like it annoys them the more. For is it okay? Like I feel like for situations like that, I think the best thing is just to avoid being in that picture. If as much as you
Mm,
can, if you understand your partner, every
mm,
partner is different. Husband and wife A is different from husband and wife B. You
Mm,
just understand your partner. If you find out that, you know what, I think it's safer for my marriage if I don't divulge so much to my wife. Let her just see
mm,
that things happen, things come. I do what I need to do when I do it. You should start divulging. If you find out that the problem is, I tell her everything. Oh, this project is coming. Oh, this project is
mm.
Oh, this client is going to pay that. If you find out that is the problem, then stop doing that. Let her just see that
yeah,
you bring money. When it's time to pay school fees, you pay school fees. When it's time to do whatever, you give her your monthly whatever. Everybody is happy. She goes out, she does
yeah.
her hair. She good. My husband takes care of me. Let it just end there. If you find out that it's not you, you're not deceiving your wife or anything, you're just being safe because you love your wife and you love your marriage and you want it to work. That's my own
Mm-hmm.
cup of tea. That's how it works
Thank
for
you so
me
much,
anyway.
Victor.
So,
The
so,
summary of what you
mm,
have said is
mm-hmm.
wisdom is profitable to
Profitable to
direct.
direct.
And
Yes.
so
Mm,
what in that instance that you have just shared, or with what you have shared, it's identifying what the triggers are and avoiding them. So
mm,
if you notice that what sharing information about what's going on, all those details is a trigger, then you withhold you
mm,
withhold the information,
mm,
even though somebody might come on another day and say, why did you keep this from me? But for the purpose of managing that situation, then if it's something that works, by all means. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing. That's a
Thank you
good, that's
guys.
a good.
Victor, somebody has a question for you. They said, but
Yeah.
for how long? Yeah. For how long should you segment this
Guys,
or
for as long as you are alive, for as long as you are alive and for as long as you want love to lead, for as long as you want peace,
and
if
peace of
it's
mind.
for peace of mind is more important than anything. Peace of mind, where doing all you can to even make that person feel like let that person feel like she has even won, even if there's no battle, you are not even seeing any battle, but just that
I
person
like
just
that. I like
yeah,
make her
you
feel
know,
like she has won, even if there's no battle.
there's no battle. Just that's the so there's no end. There's no, oh, I'm going to do it for 2 years. No, it's a
Wow.
continuous thing. That's
Mm.
marriage.
Thank
Wow.
you, thank,
Thank you
thank
so
you,
much,
thank you so
Victor.
much, Victor. That's
All right.
pearls of
Of
wisdom
wisdom,
right
yes, yes,
there.
yes.
Thank you,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much.
It's
All
always good
right.
to have you. But Victor,
Yeah.
this is one for the road. Why do guys value peace of mind so much? Like it's like guys that value
Ah,
guys value peace of mind like this.
It's not you
blood
guys,
pressure,
everybody.
my brother.
Blood
You want to live long. Yeah,
All right, man,
yeah.
Victor.
Because you
Yes.
go out, you have
You said
battles at work, and you come home
uh-huh.
and have another battle. My brother,
You
you
can't fight everywhere now. You have to
Yeah.
have a safe
can't fight
space.
Yeah,
everywhere. Yeah.
peace is echoing what you're
Yes.
saying.
Peace
Peace
of
of
mind.
mind. I'm here.
All right,
All
guys.
right,
Thank you
Victor.
for having me.
And yes, we have come to the end.
Okay.
Near end.
So we are coming to the near the end. But for those of you watching today, I know that today is not our regular day.
Yes.
But we had a rough 2 weeks ago. So that's why we're doing it today.
Yes.
So please The next edition
We are
is
back
we are back to
Saturday.
our normal timing.
Saturday,
Saturdays
8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Yes, and
You
thank
can-
you to everyone who joined us.
who
Even though
joined
it's
us
not our
today.
regular
It's not our regular
timing.
transmission.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, so we are back next week, Saturday, 8 p.m.
West African time.
Yes. So wherever you are watching us from, either you are watching from Abeokuta or from Abu Dhabi. Yes, that wherever you are watching from, please set your time zones. Saturday, 8 p.m. Babi, final words.
Final words.
Final thoughts.
We do so much better when we work as a team, when we collaborate rather than compete. When that person you're in a relationship with is your partner rather than your rival, right? Everybody wins. So let's strive to work as teams rather than as competitors. And we will leverage the fullness and the beauty that is in marriage, that is in that relationship that you have. Yes.
Okay, so this is my final word. My final word is to run through her final words. So let me, because she's captain for today, so I'm running through your final words.
Okay.
4 reasons why relationships fail. Episode 2.
Me versus you.
Competition in relationship, and you can identify the signs of competition because she defined competition as trying to achieve by establishing superiority over the other party. And then she went on to say that signs of competition, you find out the person is not willing to support you. They are always trying to outdo you, or you're always trying to outdo the other person, or you're happy when they fail, or when the other person succeeds, you are jealous. When he says over tracking, I actually like this one. They are counting scores. They are counting scores. Every time you achieve something, they're saying, and then every time you don't achieve, they say, I've achieved this one more than you, or as the case may be. So we're saying, and then this is the last one, trying to win every argument
instead of resolving the
issue. Trying to win every argument. But how do you deal with competition? And she said, avoid or improve. My is intelligent. People don't know. You think I just married anybody? Oh my goodness. If I don't know anything. I'm a sharp guy. I'm a sharp guy. Avoid or she also said communication can help. Communication can help. And then apply wisdom. We said identify what the triggers are and avoid them. So these are all the points to take note. These are all the points to take note, and we want to thank you for joining us today and staying with us. We love you guys, and we celebrate you. And we're going to be doing something from next week. Next week, we're going to release a Google form that we can just capture all our fans, because Christmas is coming. We have to be able to celebrate the people that have been with us the whole year. But did you realize that this year, every Saturday and a few Sundays, we have been online, and there are people that have been following us every time we air every week. We want to be able to say thank you, right? So we'll release a Google form, and we'll just try to capture all our consistent followers and listeners. That's all from me.
Thank you, everyone. And remember, common sense is not so common. Have a lovely week ahead.
Have a lovely week ahead. Have a lovely week ahead. Have a lovely week ahead. Let's stick on it. Have a lovely week ahead. Bye.
This one na clarion call to all the brothers and sisters who dey this country. Naija, na our land. Now we go save am. You know the dapper, better get your PVC. 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 Make
it no be like I no tell you. Make it no be like saying na bata they wear you. Everybody, mama and papa, make we go clear you. So you know go be like say we no help you. Get your BP, get your BBC, get your BP, get your BBC.
You know the japa, better get your PVC. You know the japa, better get your PVC. If you know the japa, better get your PVC. If you know the japa, get your PVC.
Outside Igbo and Yoruba.
Nigeria country, Nigeria country, Nigeria country, Nigeria